Reprints, reprints, reprints. That's the word on everyone's lips at the moment as the Pokemon Company has just announced the reprinting of Paldea Evolved. I'm Collectamon and welcome back to the channel. Now, you don't have to look too hard to find many people, especially on YouTube, saying that this reprint is going to bring upon the fall of the Pokemon market and the Pokemon winter is coming. But I'm here to tell you, and all the little Jimmies in the world, that the world is not falling apart, the market is not going to crash, and the sky is not falling. In the current state of the market, reprints are necessary. Did you hear that? I'll say it again for the people way in the back. Reprints are needed. There is a warped understanding and preconditioned mindset that people have in this hobby, whereby reprints equal price drops and crashing markets. However, and this is not going to be a popular opinion, I'm not here to give a popular opinion. As a collector and as a shop owner, reprints equal opportunity. And this is a good thing, especially in a bull market where products are limited and scarce and demand is high. Now, I know that people are going to say and point out in the comments and be like, but collect them on. Roaring Skies and boxes were $200 to $300 a box, and they reprinted them into the ground and they went to $90 a box. And people crashed out, people lost a lot of money, and yes, little Jimmy, it sucked and it caused a Pokemon winter and a bear market. However, what I want to point out now, what are those boxes doing? Aren't they ever like $500 a box? The point is, that was a very different that were very different marketing conditions, and we're currently in a state whereby all product is being opened and eaten up by reprint shippers, flippers, and collectors alike. And that brings me to my second point. Reprints in a bear market will destroy a market. Yes, that is an agreeable stance that I reckon most YouTubers and most people who understand this hobby would agree with, especially if they're not managed correctly. But reprints in a bull market is healthy for the long term of the hobby. For example, I'm going to give an example and bring your mind back, guys, to Pokemon early Scarlet and Violet. Paldea Evolved had just been released. Obsidian Flames just got released. They were sitting on the shelves for ages. Pokemon reprinted Paldea Evolved booster boxes, Obsidian Flames, and Temporal Forces at the beginning of the Scarlet and Violet era. And those boxes remained in the low 90s to early hundreds for a while. And that was mostly because the market did not value them as they do now, and they were sitting on the shelves for the longest time. It didn't make sense for a bigger reprint of those sets at the time, as the demand did not outweigh supply. See what I'm trying to get at here? If Pokemon had reprinted the hell and living high water out of these sets, then we'd still be in a bear market at the moment, regardless of that bear market at the moment. But not only that, Paldea Evolved booster boxes will not be at the price that they are now. They're hitting over $350 a box, which is understandably considering that the supply provided by Pokemon at the beginning of the era is completely different to the supply needed now. And because of all the hype and demand that's come into it, Pokemon need to adjust their reprints and need to adjust their printing demands in order to meet the demand necessary. But if Pokemon were to reprint again while the market is in a bearish state, aka not now, and let's say 5 years time or 2 years time or 3 years, whenever that's going to be, they would have killed the collectability of the market and self-harm their own market. Pokemon over the years, as evident as seen in the 25-year history, don't necessarily do that. They usually learn from their mistakes, so they will do a reprint in a bear market or cause a bear market because they've overprinted demand. But they don't really, how do I put this? Pokemon doesn't really self-sabotage. They understand the market's changing, so they're going to print to that market need. Again, there needs to be an understanding as well that the Pokemon market is around, or the Pokemon company, when it comes to reprints, is around 6 months delayed. So they would have been fully producing Pokemon product to demand just recently. It's been since surging spikes that this demand has really mounted, which is about 8 to 9 months ago. 6 months, it's only been the last 3 months where Pokemon has really ramped up their printing style. And if you really deep it, Pokemon have only really been reprinting ancillary products. So the booster boxes and elite trainer boxes haven't really had a heavy reprint. It's been mostly collection boxes, build and battle boxes, booster bundles, single packs, 3-pack blisters. So very ancillary products that keep the price per pack down, but do not necessarily harm the collectability of that set. Meaning booster boxes still remain high and elite trainer boxes still remain high and at a steady price, because those specific products as a sealed product aren't really getting reprinted. But the general collector or the general buyer who just wants to buy into Pokemon, their entry point gets lower and lower and lower because the Pokemon Company are reprinting these single pack in a single pack mindset, to which the cost per pack, is lower and the entry point is lower, which allows for, the little kid, little Sally coming down to the shop saying, Mum, I really want this pack. They're on the shelves. The single packs are on the shelves. Unless, a scalper comes by and rips them all. But that's another story. My point is, a reprint in this current market will be a drop in the bucket. It will do very little. Think about it. Pokemon are not reprinting in bulk. They're re-releasing ancillary products in drips and drabs, and the market is eating them up. And we're in the same place as we started before reprint occurred in not even a couple of months. Now, yes, granted, there will be a small dip in price for the reprinted set in the near future, but it won't crash the market. A reprint is a signal to buy. We need to keep in mind of the X factor of the reprint shippers. Product is getting devoured much more rapidly than ever before in the history of the hobby. Thousands of packs are being ripped a day, so the prices of these boxes, like Paldea, will drop but then rebound quite substantially. It will not cause a crash. The market is too strong, especially at this point of time. Now, in a year, 2 years, maybe not. The market might not be able to handle it, but this market, definitely. The only time that a crash will come because of a reprint is when the demand dies out and Pokemon finally reprint more than the demand. It will happen, but now, in my opinion, is not the time. The new mega sets have been revealed and are looking strong, and the 30th anniversary is just around the corner. So expect a strong market until then, unless something major derails the momentum. It has to be a black swan event. Do we know? No, but that's why it's a black swan event. You're not expecting it. Have we spoken about MSRP yet? MSRP gang? No? Okay. Well, I guess we need to utter the word, so at least this video remains relevant. MSRP. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll talk about MSRP in another video. So to finish off, don't be scared of the upcoming reprints. Embrace them and find it as an opportunity to strengthen your positions in the set. In the long term, you'll be happy you held. The market will correct, and all those little jimmies and crickets chirping that the sky is falling are generally new to this hobby and have a short-term minded understanding of collecting and holding onto product. Thanks for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. I will catch you on the next video.